Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Thank you for tuning in. I am Imam Tariq El-Amin, Imam of Masjid Al-Taqwa here in Chicago, and also the host and producer of the American Muslim Podcast. This video is part of a series to help my Christian relatives, my family members, our interfaith allies to better support their Muslim loved ones during end of life services. That's right, funerals. Today I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to offer some advice, some loving advice. This is all love. Funerals, these are tender moments. These are very vulnerable moments. These are one of the few times, along with births, where people come together across every difference: age, politics, faith, geography. It doesn't matter. These gatherings are filled with grief, yes, but they're also filled with love and deep respect. So here's my question. How can we make sure that these sacred spaces remain spaces of healing and not harm? I'm going to share with you a personal story. This happened actually for my maternal and my paternal grandmother at their funerals. I'll just go with my paternal, my father's side. I remember attending her funeral with my family, and we were all visibly Muslim, if you know what that means. That means my sisters had on hijab, along with my mother. I had on a kufi. My father might have had on a fez. We came as we were. We came to grieve and to be with our family. And I mentioned this in previous video that religion had never been a source of contention in my family. Never. However, the officiant began to proselytize. He began to say things like, there's only one way. Only Jesus can save you. Muhammad can't save you. Allah can't save you. Right? So I'm sitting here around my family and I am stunned. I wasn't there to argue. I wasn't there to have a debate. I was there to grieve, to be with my family. But in that moment, I felt pushed out of the circle. I wasn't seen as a grandson. I wasn't seen as a fellow mourner. I was seen as someone who needed correcting. That experience, as painful, as frustrating as it was, it sparked something in me that led me to think more deeply about public grief and how we hold space for one another, especially across lines of faith. So I'm offering 3 simple and loving guidelines for anyone attending, and especially for those who are leading end of life services in an interfaith setting, which nowadays is kind of what we should expect that our audience is. It's an interfaith audience. So the first thing I'm going to say, number 1, is to acknowledge everyone's presence. When people show up, they come out of love. Take a moment to recognize that. Say something like, we thank everyone who came today, family, friends, neighbors, regardless of background or belief. Your presence is a comfort. That simple acknowledgement, that can make people feel seen. It affirms that they belong, that they're in the right space. Number 2, could have been number 1, but number 2, avoid proselytizing. Funerals are not the place to try and convert someone. It's not the time for theological lectures or judgment. People are there to mourn. They're there to support their neighbors, their friends. They're not there to be corrected. Speak from your own tradition. Do that. Speak from your tradition. Pray in your language, but not at the expense of others. Let the tone be one of invitation, not imposition. As I recall, one pastor telling me, said, God doesn't need a defender. He needs a comforter. We could really get into a lot more with that, but I'll just leave that there. Number 3, invite prayer and solidarity. Don't assume how others grieve or pray. Instead, create space for everyone. You can say, wherever you are in your journey, however you pray, we invite you to hold this family in your heart. Say a prayer, reflect, send love. This, again, it builds unity. It reminds everyone that what brings us together is not our differences. It's the shared love for someone we've lost, someone we respect, or the family of that person. So whether you are leading the service or attending it, remember this. The person who passed away, who has transitioned, was loved by many and in many ways. So let the service reflect that. Let's center healing. Let's honor presence. Let's make sure that no one leaves that space feeling erased or invisible, that their grief doesn't matter, that their presence doesn't matter. So it's all love. Thank you for watching. May God bless you and guide us all in compassion and help us to treat one another as the gifts that we are.